What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Uncle Dud, coming to you live from New Orleans, NOLA, the NO, the Crescent City. Yeah, that Big Easy, baby. And today I got some content for you. But before we get into all that, make sure you smash that like button. I'm talking about absolutely assault that thing for your boy. Hit that bell notification once you hit subscribe so you'll be aware of all the video I'm putting out. Hey, I'm on a road to monetization. I know I ain't been with y'all in a while. You know what I'm saying? My last video ran a little bit long. It had somebody I wanted to get into. So I decided to make another video. Look, I'm on the road to monetization, bro. Engage with me in the chat. Drop your comments. Give me your 2 cents. If you don't want to do that, do me a favor. Drop some fleur-de-lis in the chat because, I'm talking about the engagement is appreciated. We on the road to monetization, like I said, and I can't do this without you. So we're going to get right back into this Diddy trial. Excuse me. I wanted to get into this. I saw that KB Goes Live. Shout out to KB Goes Live. KB Goes Live did a video titled, "Have the Feds Already Proven RICO in the Diddy trial?" And I wanted to react to it in the last video, but I got a little bit long-winded. It went a little bit longer than I would like. I try to limit it. KB, shout out to KB. He does great content. Go subscribe to your boy. Subscribe to me too, but go subscribe to KB Goes Live. He does wonderful work. So we're gonna get right into KB Goes Live. Like I said, the title of his video is, "Have the Feds Already Proven RICO?" I haven't seen this video. If I know anything about KB Goes Live, he's pretty much gonna say what I said. He may even, and probably is gonna. He's way better at YouTube than I am. I am so new. He's a veteran. He's well versed in this stuff. He has plenty of practice. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna say pretty much the same things that I said. Just do it a little bit better. So let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, I want to jump in here real quick and talk about this Diddy trial. As y'all know, we are on break right now because of the holiday, so there is no court today. Court is expected to resume tomorrow, but I want to talk about this Diddy trial a little bit because I'm seeing a lot of discourse online with people questioning, have the prosecution proved RICO in this case? I'm seeing a lot of people say that this feels like a DV case, a domestic violence case, as opposed.
It's the same thing it's the same thing a lot of YouTubers have been saying that's been on the side of lock this dude up. This dude is a straight demon. Anytime, look, my wife got this thing, and hey, if you're one of these people, I don't mean to like offend you. I don't want to offend you. I live in New Orleans, dude. The humidity is insane here, right? It's hot, right? It's only May. It is hot. I'm talking about 90 degrees. And 90 degrees in New Orleans is wet. You're miserable. You're sweating constantly. You can't stop sweating. And you have these kids out here wearing hoodies. My wife thinks something's wrong with these kids. I chalk it up to like insecurities. It's like their security blanket. Some of them they're insecure about their body. My wife thinks these kids is crazy. Kind of agree. There's no way I'm walking around, and let alone Southeast Louisiana, period. I'm not walking around with no hoodie on in 90-degree weather. This demon jacks just off GP, smothers himself with baby oil, and jacks up the heat to like 80, 90 degrees and gets to having grown-up relations in it. Just a sweaty, nasty mess. Like you gotta be a demon. Why you want it that hot?
opposed to a RICO case. People are saying that it's been too heavily focused on Cassie. It feels like a Cassie versus Diddy situation instead of a Diddy versus the United States government situation. And so the aim of this video is to clear up a little bit of confusion in regards to what the prosecution is trying to prove when it comes to RICO. Starting tomorrow, we will begin week 3 of the Diddy trial. We've been through the first 2 weeks so far, and y'all gotta remember, this is just the beginning of the case. This case is not expected to end until July, meaning that we still have weeks and weeks and weeks of testimony to go through. We have only seen
we're going into week 3 out of 10. And the only reason Cassie was brought up like so early was because she's expecting. So I'm gonna be honest with you. The prosecution is doing a hell of a job. And they slow walking it. To me, I know a lot of people saying, oh, they caught him on this. Oh, they caught him on that. That's what defense lawyers get paid to do. And they saying, oh, they caught Cassie saying this, and they caught Dawn doing this, and Cuddy, Cuddy, he can't prove that Diddy did it. Like, yes, that's gonna happen. So all the stuff that the prosecution's coming up with throughout the testimony, 1 or 2 things, maybe 1 per witness, gets exposed as an inconsistency, or maybe it's an embellishment, and now throw the whole witness away. That's not how it works. It's ebbs and flows. There's ups and downs on both sides, prosecution and defense.
The beginning stages so far, and there is a long way to go, and it may feel at this moment like it's hyper fixated on the Cassie situation, but I promise a lot more is going to develop in this trial as time goes on. 8 to 10 weeks is the expected duration of this trial. We're on week 3. So Diddy is officially charged with a racketeering conspiracy, or RICO, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Those are the charges that he's been hit with. The big one,
racketeering. I think in the last video, I proved how the racketeering, how that happens, right? Got him on that one. And just know, for RICO, they only need to catch him on 2. Racketeering conspiracy. Like, I hear a lot of people also saying, well, why is Diddy the only one being prosecuted? It's called a proffer agreement, right? It's called immunity. That's why Diddy's the only one being prosecuted, because he's the only one dumb enough not to take the plea deal. That's why. So racketeering conspiracy. On my last one, I covered how they got him on racketeering. I covered why they got him on racketeering, because he was using company funds to do so. 2 counts of schmeck trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. We went over force, fraud, or coercion on the last video. He got him dead to rights. 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution and night walking. The night walkers. We got him right there. You only need 2 for RICO. He's done.
Or RICO, which is a federal law that was passed way back in 1970 to combat organized crime. Its purpose was to allow prosecutors to charge people who are part of a criminal enterprise, even if they didn't personally commit all of the crimes. Racketeering includes things like drug trafficking, money laundering, bribery, kidnapping, trafficking, murder, extortion, arson, right? These are all activities that fall under what's called a RICO predicate category, right? So I want to show you guys this table right here. This table comes directly from Diddy's indictment, and this table shows you what Diddy is being charged with in these different indictments. You can see indictment section 13A through H right there, and then the middle one is the listed crimes that he is charged.
Boom. Napping plus variation. Got him right here. Well, this one they may not be able to prove. Arson, attempt, and plus attempted conspiracy. But hey, what's her name? Capricorn. They said that they the police, they dusted for fingerprints when it came to Kid Cudi's car, and they found a female. Capricorn Clark is set to testify tomorrow. That my theory is she was the one that did it. That was her fingerprints. But of course, she's not a dummy, and she took the plea deal. Arson, bribery of a witness. I'm sure they're gonna bring that up somewhere. I don't know what that is. Witness tampering. I'm sure they're gonna bring that up. I don't know who he tampered with. I don't know who he tried to bribe. Forced labor plus aiding and abetting. We know how he got that forced labor, even though it was schmexual labor. We know how he did that. And be honest with you, they can get him on. I know they're not going to get him because this is out of record business work, but they can get him for Cassie doing work for free in the studio. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not even Cassie, but people in the people he got to write and he ain't paying them. I know that's not part of this case, and I know this is just how the record business work, and you're not gonna get them on that when it comes to the record business. Trafficking, aiding and abetting. We know what and this is blanked up because it's probably the schmex part. Okay, schmosh night walking transport. We know they got him on that. Dog distribution. Rug distribution. We know they got him on that. You see, because he was providing everyone at his little parties with the party favors, right? He was the one distributing the party favors. And if he wasn't the one hand to hand in it, it was his money from his corporation, which all brings this under racketeering. You get it? Got it.
With, and then on the right we got the predicate category. In order for Diddy to be found guilty of a RICO, the government only needs to be able to prove that 2 of these things happened. They do not need to prove that all of them happened, just 2. So for everybody that keeps leaving comments about this is a DV case, not a RICO case, look at this table and remember that they only need to prove 2 of these things happened.
Which one of them is he not? That's the question. Which one is he not going to be convicted of? Which one they not going to catch him on? They may be able to get him on these 2. Bribery of a witness, attempted conspiracy, witness tampering. Maybe they can get him here. Maybe they can wiggle out here, but that still leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other charges that he's going down on. Like, what are we doing?
Happen to prove Diddy is guilty of RICO. And based on that, I can't lie, it's not looking good for Diddy, because when you look at, let's take for example, section 13B. Section 13B is arson or attempted arson or a conspiracy.
Okay, so let's straight. That's straight. 1. So we're going to skip these 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They may not be able to prove this one. So 5 out of the 8, they got them dead to rights.
Conspiracy to commit arson, right? That's section 13B. Now I want you to think about Kid Cudi's testimony. Kid Cudi got on the stand and he told the court, the judge, and God and everybody else that was watching that Diddy or somebody on Diddy's team cut a hole in the top of his Porsche 911 and then threw a Molotov cocktail in the front seat, essentially destroying the car. Okay, that's arson, and that's just one of the indictment sections.
See, I don't know if they're going to be able to prove that Diddy did that. That's the only... Do I think he did it? Absolutely. Or do I think he paid someone or coerced someone or forced someone to do it? Which all falls under the RICO. Do I think he paid someone? It all falls under racketeering. Do I think he paid someone to do it and not actually have done it himself? More than likely. But it's about what they can prove. And I don't know if they're going to be able to prove that it was something that Diddy did or told someone to do.
That we're talking about. Let's look at 13A, which was kidnapping and variations of kidnapping. Now think back to Cassie Ventura's testimony when she described being held against her will, including being isolated from people, stalked, and unable to escape from certain situations. Cassie testified that Diddy controlled her daily life, from her schedule to who she could talk to what she could wear. She testified that she was monitored constantly and accompanied by his assistants 20 plus hours a day. Diddy would allegedly confiscate her phone at different times, restrict her movement, and prevent her from leaving locations without approval. Think about the hotel footage that came out when Cassie was trying to leave the freak off in the hotel in Los Angeles back in 2016. He came out of the room and beat the dog shit out of her, effectively stopping her from leaving. In a legal context, kidnapping doesn't really require for somebody to be physically abducted and thrown in a van. Kidnapping somebody.
Yeah, that's what people have. Dude, you can be charged with kidnapping for locking the door. Like, if someone's in the house, if someone's in your house and you lock the door and leave them and say, don't go nowhere, you could be charged with kidnapping. Like, you don't, like, they could have came in willingly, but the fact that they wanted to get out, but you locked the doors, they can charge you with kidnapping.
Somebody can include holding them against their will, restricting their freedom to move, or creating psychological conditions that can make it impossible to escape, right? That's literally what Cassie's testimony was about. Then we've got a 13E when we look at the chart. That's forced labor plus aiding and abetting. We have heard some of Diddy's former assistants like David James and George Kaplan claim that they were forced to work long hours, clean up after these freak-offs, and do degrading tasks under the fear of losing their jobs or being harmed. Both David James and George Kaplan have described being on call nearly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no control over their schedules. The reason why their testimony kind of fits into the forced labor aspect.
I paused it here only because I don't think he went over, just like I said. And like I said, I didn't watch this video, but just like I said, he kind of skipped over the bribery. He kind of skipped over the same two that I did. I skipped over the arson because I don't necessarily know if they're going to be able to catch him here. These are the three that I skipped. He skipped 2 out of the 3 that I skipped. So he's on the same page as me. Shout out to KB Goes Live.
Of this indictment is because they testified that if they refused any task from Diddy, it would result in a violent retaliation, which could include being blacklisted in the industry or even personal exposure by Diddy leaking information or even videos about them that would make them look bad. We seen one of these guys testify that Diddy asked him, man, when you were at the party, were you on ecstasy? And he told him, yeah, I took one. And Diddy told him, oh, cool, I got that on video. I guess I'll keep that video for if I ever need it. This creates an environment where a person feels like they cannot refuse doing one of these tasks without major harm to their self, their reputation, or their career. It shows a pattern of coercive control used to.
That's another thing. The whole bribery thing, the blackmailing thing. I think a lot of this stuff with these, and most people are going to agree with this. And I don't know, I'm guessing it all falls under bribery. Those tapes, him taping people and stashing it, that's illegal. Like, that's part of the racket too. People have to know that. Like, they got this dude dead to rights. And if you don't see it, you're being willfully ignorant.
To compel these people to continue working and working hard. Okay, back to the table. If we look at 13F, that accuses Diddy of S trafficking. We seen Cassie give testimony that Diddy would have these freak-offs, and these freak-offs were drug fueled. He would give people substances, get them high, and then make them do freaky things. Whether you want to believe that's S trafficking or not, once you take somebody out of their regular mental state, you give them substances, and then you talk them or coerce them into doing things like this, that can be looked at as trafficking. As
right. So we went over that in the last video. The force, fraud, and coercion. That's all part of S trafficking. We're not even getting into the fact that he was paying escorts to come in. Like, he was actually paying people to come in and engage in these activities. He didn't even touch on that. I don't know if he will. But KB, don't forget that part, because that's very important.
the person that is doing it isn't in their right state of mind. And they're not in their right state of mind because you gave them these substances. And I know Cassie admitted that she took part in a lot of these freak offs willingly, but they only need her to not want to take part in just one of them for him to be guilty of S-trafficking.
I didn't even touch on that, but that's a fact. You see, because a lot of these people are like, oh, she did this willingly. She wanted to be there. Yeah, initially, she may have wanted to be there. She may have wanted to do something for the person that she deems as her man, pleasing to him. She wanted to please him. But when it went too far, when it took a left turn, wait, that's my right. When it took a left turn, that's when she was like, I don't want to do this no more. And once she says no, because we've gone over this, people gone over this 1,000 times. Once you say no, you can be engaged in the act at the time. Once that person says no mas, it's no mas. If you continue, you can be charged.
Trafficking. It's really not that hard to understand. When we look at section 13C, it's bribery of a witness or attempted bribery of a witness or conspiracy to bribe a witness. And that kind of falls into the category of Cassie's mother. If you remember, she gave testimony saying that she was forced to take out a $20,000 home equity loan to pay Diddy off so that Diddy would not release S-tapes of Cassie. Now, they said he eventually sent that money back to Cassie's mom, but at the end of the day, he still made her take out that home equity loan and pay him to stop that from happening.
I didn't see that part. I didn't. You see, I be at my day job. Like I be catching the lives when I can. Like in between jobs, I listen to it. I didn't catch that part.
It's really kind of extortion more than it is bribery. But remember, we're in week 2, about to start week 3 of this trial. We got a long ways to go. We may see many more witnesses come out that can help solidify 13C. We seen a security guard from the hotel where the incident with Cassie and Diddy was recorded on camera. We seen him testify that Diddy attempted to give him.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. But I thought maybe I was just thinking that the witness tampering, I didn't think about that one because I would think that it had to be like in regards to this trial and not in regards to that particular situation.
A fanny pack full of money in exchange for them to give him what he thought was the only security tape of that happening, right? That's the textbook definition of bribery. 13D on this table is witness tampering. Think about Carrie Morgan, Cassie's old best friend, who said that Diddy allegedly pressured her into signing an NDA after a violent encounter that they had where he hit her in the head with the wooden hanger and gave her a concussion. Carrie Morgan says she was basically forced to sign an NDA and given hush money, $30,000, so that she wouldn't report it to the police. That's not only a bribery like 13C was, but that's also tampering with the witness of a.
I see. This was like, they knew he did all. Damn. The legal see, this was this. I'm learning something myself. I thought the witness tampering would have had to be, but I guess how could you put it on? How could you put witness tampering on it in regards to this trial when this is what they wrote up for the trial? So he didn't get a chance to tamper with a witness in this. I get it. That's dope. They got him. That's good. I still don't see these two. They still got to prove these three to me. But this, he's done.
Crime because Carrie Morgan said that she had just witnessed Diddy being violent towards Cassie. Don Richard also took the stand and said that Diddy beat Cassie in front of her and that she was threatened into silence. These are all classic cases of witness tampering. 13G was prostitution or transportation to engage in prostitution. Think about all of the testimony that Cassie gave about Diddy hiring these escorts, sometimes from shady websites. One of those websites I think was called Cowboys for Angels. He paid these people and transported these people to these hotel rooms to have these freak offs. If that don't match transportation to engage in prostitution, I don't know what does. And then last but
facts. Facts, big facts. This is all illegal. Like I said, like KB said, it takes two. Dos. It takes dos to be convicted of RICO. In the racketeering, you're doing it under the guise of your company. Let's be clear here, people. This is why he's being charged with RICO. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate. I know I'm gonna get a lot of people saying, you don't understand. This is just a No, it's far from it.
But not least, there is 13H, which is drug distribution or conspiracy to distribute drugs. And we have seen multiple witnesses say that Diddy was a routine user of drugs. Mala Morales, which was a professional makeup artist, said that she had seen Diddy pretty much do every drug under the sun at some point. We've seen police officers who conducted raids on the hotel and on his houses say that they found ketamine, they found ecstasy, they found drugs in his properties. Cassie said they used these drugs at the freak offs. We had an escort say that Diddy offered him drugs when he was at the freak offs. We seen one of Diddy's old personal assistants say that he was tasked with delivering drugs to these hotel rooms sometimes for Diddy. He said Diddy never asked him for a specific kind of drug, but would call him and tell him, pick me up some drugs, bring them to the hotel. One of them even named his drug dealer, said that the drug dealer's name was One Stop, right? These are details that we've heard come out.
And that's what they tried to get Dawn on, the One Stop situation. Because she didn't see one, she knew of One Stop, but she didn't see the actual hand-to-hand transaction between One Stop and one of Diddy's assistants or whatever. She didn't see the transaction, so they're saying that they got her right here. Like the defense got her because she didn't see it, so she's lying. Like they try to discredit everything else she said because of One Stop. One thing about One Stop. That's it.
So far during the testimony. So I'm laying all this out and I'm saying all this because I've seen the question in my comments of how have they proved RICO with everything that's been said. And so the idea behind this video was, let's look at the table. Let's look at what he's charged with. Let's compare that to the witnesses that have got up there and given testimony. And let's look at how that testimony plays into what RICO actually is. Remember, when we're looking at this table, the government only needs to prove that 2 of these happened. They don't need to prove that all of them happened. If they can prove 2 happened, then they can find Diddy guilty of RICO. It truly is that simple. So with that, I hope that now you have a better understanding of how the testimony, the witnesses, everything that's been said plays into the charges that Diddy is charged with, right? Hopefully now you have a clearer understanding of how it's all working. Like I said, we got a lot more testimony to go through over the weeks that'll help tie all of this together. But with this information, right, seeing what he's charged with, seeing how it relates to the testimony that we've heard, what do you guys think? Has the prosecution done a good job at proving that Diddy is guilty of RICO? Y'all got to
shout out to KB Go. That was great, KB. Shout out to KB Goes Live. That was a perfect breakdown. Did it much better than I can, but like I said, he's seasoned in this. I'm still new to this, but I'm true to this. That's all the content I got. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to get caught up, you know what I'm saying? Because my plan is to definitely be engaged with this Diddy trial every week until it's over. I missed 2 weeks. Life be lifing. That's how it be sometimes, right? But like I said, that's all the content I got for you today. Make sure you like. I'm talking about absolutely assault that like button for your boy. I'm talking about flying elbow drops from the top rope on that like button for me. You feel me? Also, hit that subscribe button, click on the bell, hit on all for the bell notification so you'll be aware of every last video that I'm dropping. You feel me? Also, leave a comment. We're on a road to monetization. Help a brother out. All the engagement is appreciated. If you don't want to give your 2 cents, do me a favor and drop some fleur-de-lis in the chat. All engagement is appreciated. You feel me? So, with that said, always remember, give maximum effort to all your endeavors in life, and I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.